Hello guys, welcome to another video of mine. Here we can see a GTX 760. Now the original card that was on my PC was this one. It should have been this one, to be honest, because this is just a really bad choice. It could have been a 750 Ti too, but anyway, that's not the point of this video. Here we have the original card versus the card that will go in here. Actually, currently in here is an AMD HD 5770, 1 GB of VRAM, and definitely optimized for 720p. This one though should be optimized for 1080p. It's got 2 GB of GDR5 with a bandwidth of about 190 gigabytes per second, I believe. Should be good. Anyway, this is Asus, just like my motherboard in there. And right, let's get to installing. Okay, so here we have the thing itself. I should have showed it to you. It's an Asus variant CU2. Alright, it's surprisingly clean, and this is the first time I've held such a high-end card. It's very pretty. Very nice. It has a little dark power thing here. Has the SLI bridges and everything. Everything appears very little dust and everything. He did say he didn't use it, but perhaps he was not lying. Alright, so we have the beautiful heat pipes and the heatsink of the card. Man, this thing is beefy. And the heatsink extends beyond the card itself. I hope my case can fit the card. I've never held such a beefy card in my life. I mean, I've never had one. We got 4 heat pipes, which is kind of nice. Alright, so I guess I'll install it and get some benchmarks running and yeah, see the scores. I would compare to melt things, but I don't have anything to compare to, so I'll just give you the baseline marks. And yeah, it's just a very pretty card. Very pretty. Right then, so here we have the card, the old card. We're gonna pull out now. Don't worry, I've already... No, never mind. Never mind, I already took out the screws and everything. Right, so there's the old card. So much lighter compared to the other one. This thing's so much beefier, like it's even wider. Well, no, it's even wider and everything. Right then, I'll get back to you when I've installed the card. I need both hands for that. Okay, so here's the card installed. I should probably plug in the power cable here. Okay. Well, this is gonna be a problem. Damn cable rerouting. Again, I think I'm gonna need my hands. Anyway, I think I'm gonna need my hands for that. You might have noticed that this is not 4K, and yes, unfortunately, my phone heats up too much, and it's only able to record up to 8 minutes before it just stops recording for whatever reason. And yeah, it just gets so hot. And also, it helps the upload times because they're just pure shit when it comes to uploading 4K. It's like it takes forever. Anyway, I'll let you know when the full card is installed and running. And yeah, this is actually what I should have begun with. 2013 processor, around about there. 2014, I don't know, just around about there. Graphics card, designed for 1080p too. This is what my initial build should have been. The same with the power supply also. Like, going too much on a budget, you won't get the best things. Like, you won't get the best value because there are just components that are so bad that either your power supply explodes or your graphics card can't handle shit. say that to the GT730, which is not even a gaming card. It's a GT, not a GTX. GTX. It's literally 30 versions behind. This isn't the lowest version. This is the 760, which is the second lowest. Like not the lowest, but almost the lowest. But then again, I think it's good. Also, I noticed it has one 8-pin connector. I was expecting more, because I looked at this cable. No, not this one. This cable, and I was about to say that this is like very bad, because because normally these are for like 8-pin to 2 6-pins, but that is a really bad idea. This one, for instance, though, like you take 2 6-pins and you turn it into an 8-pin, in case your power supply doesn't have, which is pretty nice. And of course you have an extension cord, which I might need to use, as a matter of fact. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to use this. Alright then, so I guess we'll see until it's set up. Okay, so my computer is started up. I have successfully uninstalled the driver using DDU, or Display Driver Uninstaller, and we will unfortunately have to download the driver from Intel's website. It did come with a DVD. I mean, I know the driver's updated and everything, but I cannot I cannot DVD with this system. Hopefully I'll be able to run Firestrike, that benchmark, without the computer wanting to kill itself, because Jesus, it was awful. It's got about twice the bandwidth than the previous computer had did. That's me. Hold on. And we just hear the fan ramping up. That is the CPU fan. Probably because it entered the Windows, and my CPU fan is quite aggressive. Now I'm gonna have to quiet down the fan, because oh no, I'm pretty sure I plugged in the card. I don't like this at all. It's taking a... Okay, that's scaring me. Okay, it's responding. Oh, okay, good. Oh, that is... Don't do that. No, you're not gonna be able to. Oops, sorry, mate. How you don't do that? Yes, Windows should really not do this. Oh, okay. Yeah, standard VGA adapters, definitely the case. Okay, the Wi-Fi should be active, and I should be able to download. Look at all my icons. I should honestly do something about this, but that's for another time. Okay, so it's detected improperly the CPU and it's GPU, sorry, and we have to now go to nvidia.com and download the latest drivers. GeForce. I just go to NVIDIA drivers for the sake, I don't know, and download drivers, NVIDIA, product type, Quadro, no I'm kidding, it's just GeForce. For us it's 700 series, 760, there's no TI, actually there is TI, but for OEM only. Windows, that is correct, and yes. Okay, so we directly got our stuff thingy, and how do I click yes? No, that's what I want to do. How do I click yes? Okay, apparently you don't give me an option to click yes or anything. I wonder if I zoom out, it'll There's a dawn here or something. Okay. Minus, search. Download. Agree on download. Yes. And now we have 11 minutes thanks to my shitty connection. Alright, we have the benchmarks installed already. We have Valley and Heaven. We will be running those and just seeing how's it going. Right then, I'll be right back. Also, I noticed that the first of all, I noticed that this video is now over 10 minutes and my phone doesn't want to kill itself because it's hot. And that my phone isn't too hot. That's basically what I wanted to say. 500 kilobytes a second. Come on, seriously, that's not even funny. Like honestly, it's not even funny. What is that? Because I don't have a display driver. Haha, funny. 9 minutes for like 3, almost half a meg. But what version are we downloading? That should be good enough. And yeah. Alright then, I guess I'll see you back when the driver is installed or installing, or when we got our native resolution. Whilst we're here, I would like to talk about the first time I got the GT 730 because it was the first graphics card I installed, and I was used to laptops, so installing Windows and or Ubuntu was the install would be in its native resolution without the driver installed, and therefore the first time I put Windows or Linux on the machine and it showed up in really low resolution, I was like really puzzled. I was like, what's going on? Like, I thought I broke it and everything. Like, man, I hope they set warranty and that kind of thing. And then I figured out how to install the driver. It was quite painful. Also, I forgot to mention that the card is the first card I have that doesn't have cutout pins, that no longer has the limitation of bandwidth because it has full bandwidth. Okay guys, here's something you should pay attention when installing NVIDIA drivers. You wouldn't want to install GeForce Experience because now you need to create an account and do a lot of useless steps, which are all just to keep your drivers up to date, and I just don't recommend it. So keep the rest of this just in case, and yeah, that should be it. Just before I can install, I don't know, never installed one of these, so I will get back to you guys when we got our native resolution. Okay, we finished the installation and we're not to our native resolution. I guess that's just a Windows 8.1 or Windows 10 thing. Well then I guess I'll restart now. Okay, so we're back to our native resolution. We don't appear to have MSI Afterburner on yet, but it should either start up now or I'll start it up manually. Which I think it's gonna be manually because, you know, I don't know. Let's just boot it up. MSI Afterburner. Hopefully it detects everything correctly. Yes. Is it? Okay, it's here. And it detects. Hello guys, welcome again to my video. This is me from the future. Yesterday I couldn't run some benchmarks due to some complications. But anyway, first up is Valley benchmark. I'll be running it in Ultra with 2x anti-aliasing on. I've run this benchmark before, and but not at this setting. So let's see how it does. Okay, so it will boot up and do its thing, and I will first let you know how is it going, and then I'll just cut the part just so the video isn't too long. I mean, I could do speed it up, but I guess that would be kind of unfair. Okay, it's taking a bit. Alright, so now we have the 50 frames per second to begin, which is not bad at all. Okay, so I will now hit the benchmark button, which I know there was a shortcut key, but I didn't really listen to it. Alright, so with the benchmarks running now, the clocks are correctly stated up in the corner, and the temperature is currently 450. It should go up to 60 around about there. And the frames per second for now appears to be 60. I will let you know when the benchmark's over and show you the results. Also, the fine is ramping up. Okay, so the benchmark has concluded, and this is the results. 51 frames per second on average, score of 2135, with a minimum FPS of 16.7, which is quite normal for this particular benchmark. For some reason it says I have 2 cores. I'll have to look at that in a bit, but I have 1693 of maximum, and look at the thing. It's quality is ultra with 2x anti-aliasing on and DirectX 11 because this card doesn't support DirectX 12. I would be doing this on Windows 10, but it doesn't support that. So now we hit save on these scores, and actually no, it's on video. We don't need to save them. So I'll see you up when the next benchmark is set up. Okay, so up ahead we have the Heaven benchmark 4.0, and we'll be running this benchmark at high settings and quality, tessellation normal, and anti-aliasing 2x. So let's get to it. Okay, so the benchmark is running. Here we can see the initial FPS is about 37, but that will get up soon. Oh wait, I'm still recording. Okay, so the benchmark's done, and these are the results. Again, run about 50 frames per second. Actually, I don't remember what I got in the last one, but anyway, minimum FPS is 0.88, which is normal for this. You might see, I've seen a little bit of stutters and things, but that's normal with this benchmark. The quality is high, tessellation is on normal, and 2x anti-aliasing, which is not bad. Again, I have to check the whether I have a dual core right now, but otherwise it should be good. Okay, next up we have a superposition benchmark, which uses Unigine 2, so it's definitely more stable. I'm running 1080p medium on the normal preset because if I do high, I run out of VRAM. You know how some people say that 2 GB is enough for 1080p? Well, this benchmark proves otherwise. 4 GB appears to be the sweet spot. Yeah, on both cases uses a maximum of 3 GB, around about 3. I only have 2, so I have to do medium. I mean, I could do custom, but it's better for comparison for you. For you people out there, if you want to compare with me, you can use 1080p medium. If you don't have a 1080p monitor, well then we can't really compare because it's not comparable. I'm doing all of this in 1080p. If you have a 4K monitor though, you can scale down to 1080p and do that. Alright, so without any further ado, let's run it. This will take a little bit to load, so I'll cut it here. Alright, so right off the bat, this thing starts a benchmark immediately. We're currently running at 30 frames per second, and again, I will tell you when the benchmark's over. I am currently downloading Firestrike in the background, which should be another good one. None of my cards so far have been able to properly run it, so let's hope this one is actually able to. Okay, the benchmark is done. We have an average of 36.39 with a minimum of 30 and a maximum of 45. As you can see, Unigine 2 is way more stable as the minimum is only 30 and it's not far off. It utilizes the entire CPU and the minimum temperature was 35, that is roundabout correct, and the maximum is 64. That gives me a lot of overclocking headroom. This was the presets, and the reason why the other benchmarks said it was 2 is probably because it detects it as 2 threads, as 2 cores, but 4 threads, despite AMD not having this technology yet. When this processor was made, I know Ryzen does have it, but Intel AMD utilized modules, which is practically the same thing because they share FPUs and cache, I believe. Alright, so in a bit I will greet you guys with Firestrike. Hello guys, finally we have the Firestrike benchmark ready, running it for the first time. Now it's gonna do the thingies, and yeah, that's what the score is. Hopefully this thing can actually run it, because it's been a while since well, it's been never since I've seen a system be able to run this, you know, like okay, here we go. It's the demo, which hopefully means good stuff. Right, so I'll cut it here and get back to you when it's loaded. Okay, so this is just a demo. Frame rate seems good, and yeah, this is running in default settings because I don't have the Pro edition, so there goes the frame rate. Would have been too good. And yeah, well, it isn't that bad, I guess. Okay, so I'm estimating the frame rate to be about 15, 20, around about there, which isn't exactly bad for something like this. Like, this only got a GTX 760 on it, and it's not overclocked. This is just a demo, so this is the rough frames per second. This is comparable since the program is and a couple of benchmark is free, so is comparing results with you guys would be nice. Okay, so we let it run, and until it gets to the first non-demo benchmark that actually counts in the result. Okay, frame rate seems to be stabilizing now at the end. Actually, never mind, I spoke too soon. We'll see you in the next. Oh, hold on, it doesn't do it. Okay, so here we have graphics test 1 loading. This should be pretty interesting. I'm estimating about 20 to 17 or 15 frames per second, and I'm straight away proven wrong. This appears to be like 40 or 30 at least. Okay, well, I'll see you at the end. Oh yeah, 30. Okay, then I'll let this load, and actually we'll see each other back in the, well, we'll not see each other, but you know, I'll be back when each time it ends. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I'll just be back with the score, because recording all this is gonna end up in a very long video, so I'll just save myself the trouble and reduce the amount I have to edit. Okay, so it appears that the demo is slightly more demanding than the actual test. I mean, we're getting 25-30 FPS, a minimum of about 16 or something, which is pretty neat. I wonder what the physics scores will be, because this I've used the GPU for the physics. In theory, should be faster, and yeah, it appears to be faster compared to the little FPS I normally get, which is a sign that GPUs are better at physics than any CPU. Of course, it depends on which one you have. This next test might be very slow, since it's using the GPU for both. So yeah, C11. The GPU's got to render both the physics and the graphics, which is quite demanding for one component, given that the results of the frames per second from the card alone aren't that great. Alright, so there we have the score. We get a 5083, non-overclocked. I gotta remind you, this is a valid score. Whatever this means, your score appears on it. Okay, nice. Alright, so we should be able to show details, apparently not. But here we have the average for the graphics scores. We have a 30 score, and for physics score we got this is the frames per second. See, 30 is not bad. At least it's capable of running. The physics is 14 frames per second, probably because of the load on the GPU, and combined is harder on the CPU because it has to deal with two tasks. Okay, so normally I would be able to, yes, here we go, compare results online. Let's see how much better I am compared to the others. My result is better than 29% of all results. So I am better than a gaming laptop from 2013, but I'm worse than a VR system, which is reasonable, I guess. This is I wish I had more details, but I don't. CHT79 70M, which this one on desktop edition should be better than this GPU. That just goes to show on how bad and how unworth the laptop graphics card are. Even GTX 760 beats this one, which is very weird. Or then again, it could be just integrated graphics, who knows. And better than, of course, than a notebook, which is pretty cool. Of course, I'm assuming that the physics core are processed with the CPU, which is what might allow me to do this, but if you're comparing results, then just keep in mind the physics scores. Alright, we are worse than a current laptop, which is quite embarrassing, but hey, we get better with time. I don't know what that was. I'm now in basic. Why? Okay. Well, there you got the results. If you feel like it, then sure, you can come compare. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and you can give me any suggestions, of course. Right then.